Hey guys, so I hope you have. I hope you have. I hope you're in the process of doing that. What I was about to say. So let's log into our first and second machine. Yay! Okay, no, it's fine. So it's starting. Yep.
Which virtualizer do we need? Or hypervisor? Both? Open?
Both.
Okay.
So we need both virtual machines there to go for some more labs across two hypervisors. So import export and HyperV Replica, these are the two labs. Then we're gonna go switch to VMware side as well, and we're gonna go for more bigger features of virtualization there. Okay, so it's a virtual machine import export. While your machines are starting, we can discuss about the virtual machine import export. So so we can export virtual machines and from our hypervisor, our HyperV hypervisor, and to a folder in wherever C drive or over the SAN. It is not a move of that machine, but a copy of that machine. But a copy. So this means that when you export a machine, a copy of the machine gets created, right? And please do open the Hyper-V when you are inside your two machines. Please do open the Hyper-V manager. So import export, it is not a move of that machine but a copy. So we're exporting a machine which is just, we're creating a copy of that, and we can just take it anywhere. So we can simply copy that exported VM folder to a USB stick, or to or upload it, or zip it and upload it, to cloud storage. We can download and on the destination network, and then we're gonna import that machine, this VM, to another Hyper-V. So this is just a simple way to import export. While we are importing, the only thing to remember is, the important thing is that, do you want to give a unique SID to this imported machine, or the machine being imported, or to this imported VM, or do you want to keep the old SID, right? Old SID. So that security identifier is created per domain. Suppose you're in Toronto, so if I just go for a diagram here, and suppose you have a Toronto branch here, and you have a New York branch here. So there in Toronto branch, you have the parent domain. Suppose it's tor.durham.local, and there you have a child domain, and that is ny.tor.durham.local. So by now you should be reading about how to create child domains, tree domains, cross forest trust, so all those in your Microsoft certifications. So wow, students are not very much worried about the marks. Cool. No students here. Cool. Like half of them are not there. So it's always that day you need to upload the lab, and normally the video takes 2 hours to just render and upload. So pretty much the video is not available today. Okay. So what I'm trying to say here is that if the virtual machine was in this Hyper-V and you exported the machine, so Hyper-V, and there's that, there's Hyper-V. On top of that Hyper-V, we have a VM that we are about to export now. Obviously, we're going to shut down that machine. We're going to create a copy of that, and it's going to be in the C drive of your hypervisor. So C drive, and we're going to create a folder, and there's the exported VM there. Now that exported VM can be then copied to anywhere. So if you take it to, suppose, New York branch here, and you're trying to then attach, suppose it was in the USB stick, you went there, we're doing something else as well, and then you just stick that USB to the hypervisor. Now that virtual machine being imported, you need to decide that, hey, you want to have a unique SID for that, SID for the machine being imported, so import VM, right? SID for the imported VM. Now each domain also, when you this machine is joined to the domain, so each domain has its unique SID given to all the objects of that domain as well, right? So this, if you take it to the child domain, so obviously child domain will give its own unique SID. So SIDs remain per domain. When suppose you migrate a machine from one domain to another, so a unique SID will be given on the other side. But we will be just, during the import, we're just going to make sure that we give it a new or unique SID there when we are putting that machine. Now, if it's a copy of exactly that machine, suppose that machine name is, it's not suppose, this is the name, Win01. So when you just copy that machine, now we don't have an operating system here because we can't have it. It's gonna be then slow, really slow. So you will have a same IP. So the name will be same, IP will be same. We'll take care of the SID. But what about then the IP of that machine? Because when you export, it's an exact copy of that machine. So obviously, when you start that machine, you can disconnect that network card there, or do not connect it to any switch there when you're importing that machine in the other branch. If that branch has site-to-site VPN connected here, obviously it would then it could create a IP conflict or a name conflict there, right? So if you have site-to-site VPN, obviously this machine's same name and same IP could create a conflict. So when you import a machine, just make sure that you're not connecting it to any switch here in a production environment. And then when you start the machine, log into it, change its, if it was a static IP, change its static IP and change its name. So that's the whole procedure of import-export of a machine, that you need to take care of the SID of the machine, virtual machine we're talking about, and you can just take it to any other branch and import it to Hyper-V. But make sure that you do know that the name and IP are also not the same. So this is one way. Then if we talk about this in the that same lab when we do in VMware, so there is that .ovf format, open virtualization format, open virtualization format. So .ovf is the standard format for exporting and importing machines across all virtualization. Yes, sir. Oh, well, this weekend I'll try to give those marks there. But if you have uploaded within time, yes, it's full marks. So I'm not cutting anything. But yes, you need to see the marks. Sure. So I'll be trying to do that this weekend. Okay, so .ovf open virtualization format. This is a standard format for exporting and importing virtual machines. So VMware ESXi and Microsoft Hyper-V both recognize this import-export format. So import and export format. So whenever you format a machine, it just gets an extension of or export a machine. So it gets an extension of .ovf. There's a .ova format there as well. .ova. OVA is a single file, just like a zip file, and both hypervisors, the ESXi from VMware and HyperV from Microsoft, will recognize this format to import this virtual machine. Suppose you exported it with .ova format, right? And OVF is, it has three files there, and those three files, if there is further editing needed, then normally we export the virtual machines in .ovf format. So if further editing is needed, so you expect it from someone else to edit some of the configurations and data of that machine. So if further editing is needed, then then we use the OVF format. And OVA is single file. This means that further editing is not needed, or you don't want anyone to mess with that machine further. It's just finally zipped and it's ready to be used. So so nobody can edit that machine there if it is exported with .ova format. But both are import-export formats, like .ovf, and so if we export a machine from .ovf or OVA, we're going to try to do that in VMware ESXi hypervisors. It's much easier to see it there, and it's much smoother there. The best hypervisor in the market is still VMware, although everyone's going cloud now. So but they would expect us to know about both hypervisors. The best VMware ESXi, and second best is Microsoft Hyper-V. And from there, when you're migrating machines to the cloud, so, and that is also, there are multiple vendor up there as well, AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. So they all are compatible with these formats in local data centers for VMware ESXi. VMware ESXi is already having collaboration with AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. So they all recognize VMware ESXi's virtual machine format. So migrating from here to there would be not very difficult nowadays, as they have really come up with all the major steps there. So I will try to at least include a lab where we could at least migrate from local data centers to cloud. And that is required in today's market, that you should know what's the logic behind that, how to really migrate that. And if you can do that, there are so many jobs out there where they are asking for this. So security and migration both are really in-demand skills. So if we understand that, we can export the machine, put it outside in a folder, and then simply take it to the second Hyper-V manager and then import it from there. So that seems like a very straightforward steps for a lab. So let's try to go ahead, and what we will do in our lab is, so that's lab steps. Oops. And first is that we will so let's create a folder in C drive of your first name Win01 called exported VM, and then let's export a VM from your first name Win01 to this folder in C drive, and let's copy this folder to your first name Win02, and there let's import this VM to your first name Win02 Hyper-V manager. So, and obviously we will check mark the unique SID option there, right? So in last week's lab, we were able to migrate the machines while they were off and also while they were powered on. So now we need to check import export, and then we need to also check another advanced feature called HyperV Replica, where you have active passive machines there. So let's go for this one. It's not a very big lab, so let's try to do that. So let's connect to your first name Win01 and go to the Hyper-V manager there. Hope everyone's there. first one. So once you're on your first name Win01 here, so one of them, in my case, it's running, and the other one is off. So the first one is running. This means that it's not connected to the pass-through disk as well, and differencing disk as well. So this means that we can do some extra laps there as well, although we can remove those settings from the second machine. So the first machine, if it is running, right click here and just turn off that machine. Shut down is safer. Turn off is like pulling the plug. But okay, I'll try first to shut down. If your machine is running, go ahead and shut down. And if I press shut down on the Tor machine, that's what we're going to export. I'm going to click shut down. And it says here that you don't have the tools there. So fail to shut down the virtual machine. This occurs if the current state of the virtual machine does not support shutdown. So normally we do not put that virtualization tools there. There is no operating system there actually. So that's why it's not supporting shutdown. So just right click again and turn off. If it is running, turn off, otherwise just wait for us. So once you turn off the machines there, your first name VM01 Tor, and turn off. So second thing is, let's just simply export it. Before we export that, we need to have that destination folder in the local C drive of this virtual machine. Well, the host that we're talking about. So let's go to the C drive of our your first name Win01 and create a folder. So right click in the C drive of your first name Win01 and just create a folder, exported VM, which is an empty folder right now. And exported VM, sorry, right click and rename again. So your first name. Well, you can just right click and rename it again. So exported VM, your first name. And let's so once that folder is created, so obviously we're just going to dump that machine in this folder or export it. So it will be a copy, it's not going to be a move. So let's minimize this if you've created that folder, and let's quickly export this VM. So this is your first name VM01 Tor. So right click here and there is this option here. Make sure that it is off the Tor machine. I hope it is off for everyone, and then the export. So it's a very simple process there. It just asks where to export the machine, right? So let's click that export here. So location, and then click browse, and we're just going to go for that folder, right? So let's go ahead and click browse and go for that folder here, C drive. And there's our folder. Just simply select that, exported VM, your first name. So once it is selected, well, just select that button as well. Select folder and export. That's it. Go ahead and click the export button. So yeah, should have taken a screenshot here. But let's go inside the folder. Now this machine, if it had SQL Server here, it would have taken some time, but it's a very, very light machine. There's nothing inside. I would really want to put an operating system, but that will take maybe 2 classes, if not 1. Okay, so let's just go down to that folder and let's see what we dumped there. So it's exported VM, your first name. Let's go inside, and there's that VM. If we go further inside that subfolder, so you see there are 3 subfolders created. Now only one is populated here, which is virtual disk, and that also, poor guy, has just 8 MB of disk space, or actual disk size. So I'm just going to go inside the virtual hard disk here, double click that, and that's your disk here, your first name VM01. Oh, it's 4 MB and AVHDX, the snapshot. Alright guys, take a screenshot of this where exported VM, your first name VM01 Tor, and virtual hard disk is showing clearly the space there as well. So VM exported is the label for the first screenshot here.
My differential hard disk also copied into this folder for some reason.
Which is okay. Maybe we create the differential hard disk here instead of in NY, but as long as the pass-through disk is not there, we're good. Okay guys, so here let's well, just name it as I'm just gonna put that. So VM exported, right? So I'll just go for screenshot 1 VM exported. So let's go ahead. VM exported is the label here, and so far so good. It's a pretty simple lab. So if it is exported here, so obviously we need to get this folder into the second virtual machine or the Hyper-V manager or the host. So I'm going to go up there to C drive level there and then right click on this. Now we just need to copy it to the your first name Vim02, the other Hyper-V. So right click here, copy. It's not gonna directly copy there. So if we go to the other folder, machine, and are we logged in there? No, I'm not. So yeah, so it's not gonna copy this way. I'm just going to the downloads folder or wherever and right click, and there's no paste here, right? So there's another, there are many ways to do that. One is that you can just copy from the first machine and then minimize, just put it on desktop here, on your laptop desktop, then copy it again from here into the clipboard, and then go to the next machine. And there you go, paste is not there. Cool. No, actually it didn't work. Yeah, so there's one way. For some it works, for some it doesn't. Guys, there's one more thing. Did we install VMware tools? We don't have, right?
If you can update it, it'll work. Yeah, Italian did it, but it's too long. Yeah, it takes forever.
To just drag and drop?
To update to then install VMware tools takes a long time to do.
Okay. You know, there was that VM we migrated. That was the best way to just get that machine there. But that was move. Yeah, we could just move it back and export it here. And then move that machine back to previous destination, which is another workaround. Since our now, so your VMware Workstation version is 15.5 or 15? 5. Okay, so 2012, it's the biggest enemy of 2012 Windows, 15.5. So there you go, another limitation here. So okay, now we can go this way, which I was saying that since the migration is working fine, which is just a longer workaround. If we had VMware tools, we could have just copy pasted it. So what I can show you, even if you don't copy it there. So first way I was just thinking is this, that let's simply migrate, just like last week we were able to smoothly migrate it from here to there and then export it there and import it there as well. So that can work. Technically it can work, right? And the second thing is we can simply learn how to import. So the only limitation right now is that we cannot copy across different machines, right? But we need to just know how to import back. So we can import it again to this Hyper-V manager to just learn how to import, right? Because we need to see the import wizard. That was not the purpose of just importing it to the same Hyper-V manager, but there is no production environment here that it's necessary to go to the second machine. So since our limitation here that VMware tools is a pain, so we can just import it directly here just to learn how to import, right? So okay, here how to import, we can now obviously that's the same machine there where we're importing exactly another same SID, same name, same IP machine. So the first machine is off here. So as far as we're importing, it's not going to say anything when we start. That's where it's going to say, hey, what are you doing? There's already a machine with this. So we're not going to really go to that stage because there's no operating system inside. So ultimately, let's go ahead and import it inside the same your first name Vin01 just to learn how to import and what does the wizard look like. It's going to be the same procedure if you had imported it in some other HyperV manager. So let's right click here. You can see on the top here your first name Win01, and you see this import virtual machine. So that starts our wizard, right? And we just need to go for unique SID. That's the only option that you need to care about. Also that we cannot save this machine in the same folder where its copy is saved. We can rename that disk, or we can just give another path. So let's click that import virtual machine. Once you click that import virtual machine, so the wizard starts. This is the same wizard that would have started on another hypervisor as well, wherever it is, or if you were able to. Yeah.
It's gonna be the same one, right?
Yeah, it's going to be same one, but we're just learning how to what comes in the import wizard. So, but it's the same procedure that's going to happen if we were able to go to the second hypervisor and do that, right? So let's go ahead and click next. Now it's just asking which folder. So this is what we would have done if we were on Win02. So let's click that browse button and go to that same C drive, pretending that, okay, that's the Win02 there. So exported VM, and so let's go inside here, but don't go inside this folder. Just select on this level. It will detect the whole machine, right? So select on the same level, it will detect the whole machine. So just go ahead and select. Do not go inside further. There are 3 extra folders there. It's not going to detect on that level. So select folder. So that's one thing you understand, because if it was another Hyper-V, that's the same exact procedure you will be going to. There's no difference there. So specify the folder containing the virtual machine to import. That's done. Let's click next. And so it detects that, okay, this machine was created at this day, this time, and that's the name of the machine. So let's click next here as well, right? Now this is the only area that you need to make sure that you understand. If you were importing it in another Hyper-V, it would just ask exactly the same questions here. So register the virtual machine in place, use the existing unique ID. So when you copied this machine from an existing machine, so both have the same ID, you want to have that unique ID, the same one you want to use here, you can do that. And why would you want to do that? Suppose that other machine whose copy we are importing now, this machine is a kind of a template machine. You're not actually using this machine, you're just using it to export VMs and import somewhere else. So suppose it was not being used in production environments regularly, then you go for the first option there, that yes, I want to use the same SID there that was the SID of this machine, because that other machine is actually not being used. It's just there to export and create copies of virtual machines, right? So but we're not going to use that. Then restore the virtual machine, use existing unique ID, and restore is just that from backup. So it's like if you've taken a backup, you can just restore with the same ID. Again, if the source machine is not being used in the production environment, then these 2 options are good. But we're going to go for copy the virtual machine, create a unique ID, right? So let's just copy the virtual machine and create the unique ID. So try to select that, and if you select that, so that's your second screenshot, selecting unique SID. So that's your second screenshot here, selecting unique SID. Make sure that your machine name on the left side or above your name basically is showing there. So copy the virtual machine, the third one, and selecting unique SID. So take a screenshot number 2 here, selecting unique SID.
First, you want to get the exported VM on the second virtual machine, right? So why don't we just make a share and then copy and paste the file?
So we are not able to copy paste because VMware Tools is not installed.
No. I mean, network share.
Oh.
Share the file. Because it's in the same domain, right? we put all.
Okay, we can try that. So I'll just quickly do that if it lets us. Without VMware Tools, sure.
We're using this B stick to.
Without VMware Tools, it will let you.
Yeah, you can
Okay, you've done that, right? So see this? I'll just go for second machine. I'll go to right click on the run and type here \\, and 192.168.200.1 and \C$, right? Right? So I'm on the second machine. I'm trying to go directly to the C drive of the first machine, and because you have admin privileges, you're logged in from the same admin account. So press OK. It comes there, and that's it. Copy, and this is the downloads here, and paste.
Okay, you gotta do that again. That was amazing.
Did we completely skip
you
our
just not
first
think
use
of that?
import type?
Okay, I'll just do that again. Yeah. So thank you, sir, for this idea. VMware Tools, I just given up already when there was no VMware Tools. Otherwise, yes, this is very good. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I gotta run.
So that should be +5 temperature. Okay. So here, see this, guys. Everyone's on server 2. Go down to run, and see this. Just exactly type like this. So C$, obviously, you know, it's shared. C drive is always shared. It's a hidden share. The $sign hides the shared folder, right? So when the virtual machine or Windows machine is joined to domain, it's always, you know, C drive is always shared. Only administrators know that, or the hackers know that, right?
You want us to grab the whole
Exported
exported?
VM, exactly.
Put it into the C drive.
Yes, C drive of your second machine. Done?
Files may be harmful. I don't care.
It's not harming yourself. It's not cool.
Self-harm, dude. Down the street, not across the road.
So if I press OK, now you see the C drive of the other machine. Just copy this, and well, I'm gonna go to the C drive of local C drive of this machine and paste. So well, I haven't done that, so now we can just go ahead with what we were planning. Without VMware Tools, we can survive. I was too lazy to test that. VMware Tools does open advanced features in virtual machines, so that's very good. Okay, so if it is, it's not working. So you're go to the second machine.
We're copying this importing virtual seconds. Garbage is open run.
C.
Pretty good though.
That's very good. Copy that folder. Go right again. All done. Okay. So let's go ahead. So yeah, what we were doing on 1, we can just do it on 2, and so let's get going here. We're in the HyperV manager of 2, and we can just start the same wizard. So that calls for extra marks for the troubleshooter. So that will be
Good job, troubleshooter.
or extra coffee if that's good. You know, marks is I'm not authorized to do.
He doesn't drink coffee.
Oh, okay, extra something.
Get him M&Ms.
Okay, M&M.
What just happened?
Hey, you're being rewarded for this good idea, man.
Or it's a parking card.
Yeah,
Like $2 on it.
yeah. Okay. So here, import virtual machine. Now we get the drill here. Oh, we know the drill here. So import virtual machine here, right? So let's click before you begin and click next, and we selected that folder on 2, right? And click browse, and yeah, on 2, right? Okay, so import virtual machine for wizard. It started. You want me to start again? Okay, cool. So cool. So browse, right? And then we go down to that path where the exported folder is. So in the C drive, we select the exported VM. Actually, not select. Double click that. Select the VM inside. Suppose that's the one folder, and you've exported 10 other VMs there, right? So you can select whichever exactly you want imported. So select that and go down to select folder here, right? So it looks like this, which is good. And let's click next. And then it detects that machine on the other Win02 and click next. So we selected copy the virtual machine, create a new unique ID. Okay, once that is done, next. So we were talking about that. Now, you know, in the first machine, I would have asked you to, hey, just change that folder, all the folders here. But now, because it's in the second HyperV manager, that's where this machine's files are not supposed to be already. So we can just keep it this path. Now the checkpoint store is migrated VM, smart paging folder is migrated VM. This is supposed to be all again exactly this path, but last time we did the migration, so it has this folder structure here as well. If we keep it like that and no error comes, then we're good. So but in production environment, I would have just gone to a specific folder there, just copying this one on second and third one as well. But right now we're just importing the machine just to learn how to import. So let's click next without changing anything. And now it's asking, where do you want to store the imported virtual hard disks for the virtual machine? So obviously this is the path for all the virtual hard disks of Microsoft virtual machines, which is okay. And click next. Okay, now it's asking, hey, which switch you want to connect to, right? So obviously we have just one on the Win02. So just select that switch. And then click next. Just that switch, that one switch we have there on. Yes, sir.
Mine just says new virtual switch. It doesn't come up with me.
Yeah, we screwed it up, but it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So just go ahead and select the other. You do see one when you drop down, right?
Yeah, it says new virtual switch. It's not that.
Which is okay. Yeah. So if there's any switch there, that's what we need right now. So let's click next here. Well, okay, it's asking for another switch because we had 2 network cards there in a previous lab for this machine. So if it keeps on asking, hey, where do you connect this machine's second network card to? Okay, same switch, obviously. You can stick to not connected, but we're gonna just connect it to the same switch again. If it looks somewhat different, as long as it ends with a virtual switch, we're good. So, wow, I was chewing up here, I guess. Next. Seriously, did we add 3 network cards here? Okay, so just keep on selecting. Yeah, that's the same virtual switch. Okay, and finally, I hope it doesn't ask for another switch there. Next. So that's the, yeah, summary. So take a screenshot here. VM about to be imported. Take a screenshot. This is giving you the, configuration that you selected there. So screenshot number 3.
We didn't name it that. We named it new virtual switch.
So summary, take a screenshot here, and VM about to be imported. Because if after that there are any errors, so hopefully no error. VM about to be imported. Right. So guys, one more thing, if you're updating labs by following the video on the next day, that's not the same marks then, right? So if you're uploading the video. If you had a genuine problem, you need to email me that day at least. Why are you uploading the next day the video? You're supposed to upload that day, today, right? All the labs. If you had a problem, you must email me. I need to know, so I should not cut your marks, right? If you're uploading this next day, it's half marks, right? So that day you must upload, or please give me a genuine reason, or with a screenshot would be better. Yes, sir. So did you send me an email for that? It's full of viruses.
Pardon?
No.
No, I just can't. There's nothing to screenshot.
Okay. Any error, any explanation would be very helpful for me. Right. I just need a proof, and that's it.
Well,
So.
there's a Windows update, and that generally breaks VMware for some people.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Every single VMware for so far, my VMware doesn't work in class, so I have to go take a snapshot and then I have to go back to the old, I can do the old labs and then I have to do it again.
So, but you're done with the labs, or you're still catching up?
Yeah, well, I finished last week's for sure, but I've so far been like updating, like uploading it like a day after or something like that because I have to go home, go back to my original snapshot and then.
Oh, again, do that. So please do mention that, because otherwise I don't know, right? So if you tell me, then I would know, and then I'm okay, right? So please tell me at least you've been having this issue. So if they also ask me in management that, okay, you've given full marks to pretty much everyone, and some of the labs we check are not even there. So I need to have a reason as well to give to the management. That's why I gave full marks, because they had a reason. So please do update me why you're not uploading. At least I need to know. If you don't tell me, then I cannot assume anything, right? So please do tell me in an email. For this week, for that week, for that week, for that week, the same problem. This was the problem going on, right? Please do inform me. Otherwise, when you're surprised, hey, where are my marks? So please at least inform me what's going on, right? Okay, guys. So here we are about to be imported, and go ahead and let's click finito. So, well, no error, right? Okay, so it was really quick. The thing is that this VM is there in the first HyperV, and that's the same VM that's here in the second one. There's in production environment, definitely I would go for any error there. Suppose it was a SQL server inside, and that's very critical to be there in the other branch, because suppose we are migrating everything away from the first branch and we're pretty much demoting everything there. So when it reaches here, is it in one piece? So if it was having an operating system with an application, that would be nightmarish scenario for me, that I hope nothing wrong had happened. So right now we don't have an operating system here inside, but still go ahead and start. At least it should not pop up with any error, although that really is not related to the production environment. There you would really test it vigorously, connect applications to it, and try to check especially the event viewer logs after it was imported. What are the log files saying? And they would be giving you a lot of errors there. Some of them might be harmless. Some of them you have to really resolve them because of this migration, or this procedure downtime was there. But when you import export, anything could happen. So suppose you had SQL server, suppose you had web server, suppose you had print server, suppose you had, so every application is a different planet. It's a different requirement, different dependencies there. When you start, suppose SQL server went fine, it was so smooth. When you started a file server, so many errors are coming. It's a different way that application works, and SQL server works differently. Web server works different. So this one migration would have different results for different applications. So that's where your expertise comes then. How do you make it smooth and remove all the errors and make sure it's working fine after you've done the migration? This is not a migration. This is just a import export, which can be considered as a migration. So, but it's not definitely a live migration. There's a downtime here. It's totally manual. So last class we did the actual migration where we move the machine while it was off and we move the machine while it is on. What I would recommend is before you go for the job market, do put an operating system inside and then migrate while you're connected to a shared folder of that operating system and you're doing a live migration. So many students have tried that at home before they were going to the market to apply for jobs. So that is the actual practical experience that you can take at home as well and put it in your resume. Yes, I know how to live migrate, just don't ask that which company I did it at home. So the thing is that if you're knowledgeable about technical details, that's what is required in the market. Okay guys, so well, this is import export. That was not very complicated, but let's go for another or next lab here, and that is HyperV Replica. And that's where it's going to get a little tough. Hopefully we're able to do that within the given time. Otherwise we'll continue. We'll continue on Monday then, right?
Not Monday.
Yeah, we'll continue on Monday. You're damn right.
So I will definitely not be here on Monday. So okay, so yeah,
No
Friday.
dedication whatsoever.
Well, yeah, don't worry. So here, HyperV Replica, and so HyperV Replica is all about if we want to have an active and passive VM on two different hypervisors, then we set up HyperV Replica. Now this is HyperV Replica. It is called fault tolerance in VMware, and it is called HyperV Replica in Microsoft. So virtualization environment, right? So if we want to have an active and passive VM on two different hypervisors, then we set up HyperV Replica, and there is not supposed to be any downtime when the active VM, hosting hypervisor goes down. Supposed to, but there is when we actually check it. So there is a centralized application for Microsoft called SCVMM, System Center Virtual Machine Manager, that makes sure with SAN that there is no downtime when the active machine hosting hypervisor goes down. We don't have SAN, so obviously there will be a downtime. So SAN makes all the difference. But I intend to go for SAN in VMware environment, and good luck to our laptops. But we have to push it if we want to learn some advanced features. We'll try to plan that. So after this is obviously VMware coming. So you will expect a lot of lots of features, long list of features there, virtualization, and hopefully I'll be applying for cloud, AWS cloud for accounts for you guys. So maybe you will get an invitation from AWS to log into AWS cloud without credit card, so yeah, it's my first time in this college, so the administration has no clue what I'm talking about. So so there's that. There's not supposed to be any downtime. So I'm just going to go for that lab there, or the diagram there. Oh, pinned taskbar, seriously. Did I do that? Okay, paint. So that's our scenario right now. We have two hypervisors, and what we're going to do now is that we already have one virtual machine. In fact, we can go for a new virtual machine here. And what we're going to do inside is that if one virtual machine is there, we're going to create an exact copy of that, or a partner that is going to be the passive machine, right? So the passive machine obviously does certain tasks. It continuously. This is a standby machine. This is the active machine. So anyone knows that what is the continuous work of active VM and what is the continuous work of a passive or standby VM? So active VM does what?
Host an operating system, I would think.
Have to be the king of it.
That's true.
So active VM receives client connections and user connections. And user connects. Active VM is like doing the work for, suppose it's a bank, so banking application is working, end users are actually connecting to whichever is the active VM, right? And end user connection, so all the end user applications, all the tasks are going on. Anyone knows what passive VM all the time or standby VM all the time is doing while active is doing work? Passive is,
It's on standby.
it's on standby, but it's doing something. What? It's on standby doing a lot of work. What is that?
Storing files.
How, like, so exactly, you're there. So whatever changes are happening in active VM, so all changes are being replicated to passive VM till the last second. Every change that happens here in active VM must be copied to the passive VM. So that passive VM is exactly, it's a really busy machine. Passive VM, it's just not taking end user connections, right? It's not taking end user connections. It's just copying anything end user is doing in active VM. So we must know that how it really works there in the background. So that replication, there are two types there. There is synchronous replication, and then there is a asynchronous replication. That is a very common concept in cloud, whichever cloud you study there, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. So synchronous, asynchronous, they always talk about that. Obviously, your main job is not to just create virtual machines. Your main job is to keep them up and running, right? That's where the big money is. Creating virtual machines is a desktop support job, and obviously when you're doing that, so it's a very low paying job, and there are so many thousands applying for that. So you should go for, aim high. Okay, so here, synchronous replication, it's the same time replication, remember that, and maybe I've discussed that before as well in lectures. So synchronous replication is same time replication. It's right away, then and there, it replicates whatever is going on in the active VM into passive VM. So passive VM is an exact copy till the last second of whatever changes are happening in active VM, right? So it's not just sitting doing nothing. The passive VM, it has a very big task here. As soon as the active VM crashes or the whole host crashes, all the services will fail over to the passive VM, making it the active VM. So it's the leader in the waiting, right? It's going to lead the whole show. It's going to run the whole show. So it has to be ready till the last second to run the whole show, right? So passive and, or standby VM will, once it becomes active VM because active went down, obviously then all the end user connections will be redirected to the newly active VM. Now it became active, right? So this is all done with the help of SAN. Well, in the production environment, you must have SAN. Without SAN, virtualization does not exist. We're going for just the local environment. The previous teacher, what's his name? Sorry.
The guy who's in this room?
Yeah.
Cameron. Michael Cameron.
Oh, Michael. So he was saying, hey, how are you doing this course without infrastructure? So I was totally agreeing with that. Yes, we don't have infrastructure. So it's all inside our laptop, whatever we can go for. Nested virtualization, inside, but we have to push through. We have to do it no matter what, right? No infrastructure, no problem. We'll do it still, right? So if we understand the concepts out of this, we're good. And these are the same concepts that apply with the big $100,000 infrastructure or $1 million infrastructure as well. The concepts are same. Okay, so here, so synchronous replication is going on and passive and active VMs. So it just becomes active and that's it. So once it becomes active, obviously it needs a partner here. So if you want to go for, if you have a bigger environment, you will create a passive partner here as well. Suppose the first active machine does not go up. So the other machine becomes the passive partner of the newly active machine, right? Standby or passive. So that is called secondary here, right? So that's the main thing here. You can just go for a third partner, third machine as a hosting partner because of the first one did not come up. Alright guys, so we need to do some configuration on our side in our lab to make it all happen. And it's not that difficult after you have pulled off that live migration lab. Then HyperV Replica is not that big deal, right? So let's try to go ahead and do this. So I'm just putting that space there. There's no screenshot here. No. Okay. So the lab. That's why I was here. I forgot first. Okay. So lab is exactly. Yeah. So lab is that let's configure HyperV Replica settings on hypervisor on both hypervisors. Also, replica. So let's create a folder in C drive, of both hypervisors called replica VM, your first name. So that's the folder that's we're going to create in the C drive of both hypervisors, right? And then we will try to explore the features of HyperV Replica, which is all about active passive virtual machines. So that's again, that's called fault tolerance in VMware. That's called HyperV Replica in Microsoft. So let's try to do that. Now we're going to go for the first HyperV and try to configure the HyperV Replica configurations here. So oh yeah, forgot to cancel it. So let's go to the first hypervisor, open the HyperV manager, and configure the HyperV Replica configuration there. So I'm just logging in, and since we were in the middle of that wizard for import on server 1, so just cancel out from here on server 1, and now we're inside the HyperV manager, right? So it's Win01. I hope everyone's there. So right click here on top, and then let's go to HyperV settings here. I hope everyone's there. So once you click the HyperV settings, right? So it's on server 1 and it's the HyperV settings, and then we go down. So these are all the settings of the HyperV manager. Yes, sir.
Password again?
For the class password?
Yeah.
Small ABC, capital ABC, shift 1 2 3.
Oh, I was doing that.
Which settings do you want to?
Oh, okay. Welcome back, guys. Okay, so here, right click here, and HyperV settings. Yes, ma'am. Oh, password. Oh, okay. So it's small ABC, capital ABC, shift 1 2 3. But I'm just gonna put it here. Small ABC, capital ABC, shift 1 2 3. Right. If everyone use the class password, you can use any other password as well, which you remember. Just don't forget it. It's locking us out again and again, and we can fix that too. So everyone got it, right? No? Did you put the class password? Cool. It could be this as well, but I don't think so. I mean, normally if we want to make it more complicated. So it's just key pressing shift 1 2 3 is exclamation add and pound sign.
Great. I locked myself out.
Oh, let's fix that too. In fact, it will never lock us out again. But if we are able to come in or log in first,
How can we do that? How can we change?
change. Well, if you're logged out, then
No, I am in, but
yeah, then I'm gonna show you now. So
you know, whenever I start my VM, they don't ask me for the password. But when they log me
Oh.
out, they do. And I don't
yeah.
know the password.
So if you are if you're in the suspended state, it starts from where you suspend the machine. So you were logged in at that time. Okay. So write it somewhere safe, like Twitter or Facebook, and then we will never forget that. So others will also remind us, pretty much everyone else. So, hey guys, if we're there, so first of all, let's just fix that locking out feature. So I hope everyone's there. So go down to this one. Let's just fix that. It should not lock us out again and again. So let's go down to this one, and there's a power option here. So let's go to the power options, everyone, if you don't want to be locked out again. So let's go to the power options, and then you want me to repeat that, let me know. So there's that high performance here. So change settings that are currently unavailable. Well, that's there, and there's a change plan settings here as well, right, in power options. So I'm just gonna click that change plan settings, this one, and once you click that, then it's every 15 minutes it's going to lock you out if it's idle. So let's change that. So change settings that are currently unavailable. Let's click that and just slightly change it to never. Yes, ma'am. Password is not working? Oh. Guys, do that to the second machine as well, so you will never be locked out again. Oh, it's password. Yeah. So net space user, space administrator, space whatever you're administrator right now. No. Well, that's, if it's the same, it will. That's
Yeah, you probably reset the password.
we can never see the password change it, right?
You already turned it off, so.
Well,
I couldn't.
well, that's the command in the previous
Did you not turn it off?
net space user, space
Oh, I
administrator.
just paused it,
Whatever you type in is the
Yeah.
password.
and then I put it back on.
And then you put it. It's still on right now.
Yeah.
Oh wow. It stopped responding, so I figured you just turned it off again.
No.
Yeah, turn it off, whatever.
Reset password, here we go.
Oh,
Thanks for keeping it on.
It's still not recording now.
oh, you're there, right?
You better reset it again, right?
Yeah. Just not to CMD. I got it for browser, got it for FileZilla. File Explorer. Those are the last things. CMD. I don't know.
We can change. Hey, are you logging from the same account here and the same account there?
Yeah.
You can log in. So you can change the password which you want now, which is the same account there. So right click or this and change password. Here's the problem here.
It's not too difficult.
You know the
I
password.
know, it's pretty hard. It's hard to shoot. It's pretty small.
Like you're logged in from
It's like just one big color space.
from both machines, right? So it's still asking, hey, what's the
Kind
whole
of like
password?
the
And that's
all in there.
that was the if
Wait,
you know
does
the
it-
password, it would have that changed. Log in from the first one.
The password has been changed.
Which is okay, whichever one is basic. But you don't know the password, then we need to change that.
The password has been changed, but it's for this machine. I know.
Okay. Are you logged in from local accounts or Active Directory account? Yeah, try this. And you should go to Notepad and check that.
The password which I set up for this machine.
So now you change it to the other machine, so first type it somewhere else. And second thing is this machine still needs a old password to be unlocked. It still needs the old password. Right? Finish the lunch
Right now, I was trying to text her.
because you're working right now, right? She's stuck at so we'll put it at 2. So, hey guys, so let's get going. And if you have already configured this one, so, and I hope you've configured it for the second one as well. So let's just save changes here. And I'm gonna go to the second machine. If it has not logged me out already, it has, okay. So every 15 minutes. So let's just right click here, go to power options here as well, and go to change plan settings here as well, and change settings and slightly change it to never, and save changes. So if you have done that on both machines, then please do that now before before, yeah. So okay guys, let's try to carry on, and so let's right click. Are we all on first machine?
I am on the
First machine,
I have no Wi-Fi, so I speak.
Win01. Everyone's on the first machine. So let's go to right click within the Hyper-V manager of your first name Win01, right? Right click here and go to Hyper-V settings. I hope everyone's following now. So right click Win01 and Hyper-V settings here. Once you have put in that or click that, so let's go down to replication configuration. So that's where it's going to be a bit easy now to configure that, because live migration was already working here. So it's pretty much depending on some of the configurations of live migration as well. So replication configuration on the Win01, if you've done that, let's go to enable this computer as a replica server. So once we click that, enable this computer as a replica server, then it's just saying that, hey, you want to use the Kerberos, data sent over the network will not be encrypted if you're going for HTTP or HTTPS. If you use HTTPS, obviously you have to then purchase a certificate from GoDaddy.com or digicert.com or verisign.com, which is $200 up to $1,000, and you put that certificate here, and then only you can just connect. So let's click that use Kerberos here, enable this computer as a replica server and use Kerberos. Let's click that. So we're not having a certificate purchased here, so we're just gonna keep it like that. So let's go down here to and then there is allow replication from any authenticated server, which is good. So any authenticated server, and then there is that other as well. So yeah, it's so allow replication from any authenticated server or allow replication from the specified servers. So in the allow replication from specified servers, let's click that add here. Once we click the add button, so we can just okay. Guys, not this one, not this one. Cancel out, cancel out, cancel. No. Okay. So here the first one, the first option, because we created a or we will be creating a folder there, a replica. So we just need to go here. So allow replication from any authenticated server and click browse. Go ahead and click browse here, and then we're gonna go down to this PC and the C drive. So we haven't created a folder, so there's a new folder written here as well, right? And new folder, if you click that, just go for replica VM, your first name. Replica VM, your first name, right? So if you have created that folder, so just click anywhere else, and so just select this folder and click here, select folder as well. So select this folder and select. So it's supposed to look like this. So now this is a very simple configuration of HyperV Replica. So try to now take a picture of replica configuration done on your first name Win01. So, and that's the same screenshot we need for the second one as well. So this whole page, take a screenshot, and this whole page, take a screenshot. Yep.
Oh.
You have a cell phone picture? Wow, it's a blue screen of death. BSOD. Okay, it's gonna restart now, and follow the video. Wow, that's out of luck. Okay guys, so if you're taking a screenshot here, let's go for HyperV Replica screenshot 4. So replica configured on your first name VM01, I think. Yeah, that was me. Oh, Win01, sorry. Your first name Win01. So replica configured on your first name Win01. And well, that's the second one as well. So I'm just gonna put that screenshot number 5 because we're gonna exactly do the same thing on second one, and then we'll create a partner replica machine here. So replica configured on Win02 as well. So but we haven't done that. But when you take a screenshot after configuring the 2 with the same configuration settings, so you can just take that screenshot with this label. So I'm just gonna go for the second machine here. And the first machine, obviously, we need to click apply. So first machine, if this is a configuration, you've taken a screenshot already, click apply here. It says that ensure the inbound TCP exception for port 80 is enabled in the firewall. So our firewalls are off, so it's not an issue for us for now. And some companies, firewalls are off. And some companies' firewalls are on. So when I was in Scotiabank, so their 2200 servers, they were all, the policy was to turn off the firewall on the operating system level. And but there were other very good security software there, end-to-end McAfee end-to-end encryption, and IDPs and other intrusion prevention and detection systems. So okay, so we're just gonna press OK here. Otherwise, yes, you have to then add port 80 to exceptions in firewall, which normally is added. In if some companies, those who do follow that, yes, we're gonna have firewalls on. So guys, if you have click apply, press OK here. Now Win01, we've done that setting. Let's go for the second machine and open the HyperV manager here as well on the second machine, right? And back. Okay, cool. Oh, smart, good. Okay, so HyperV settings, replication configuration, and same setting, right? So just enable that, enable use Kerberos. So we're going for less secure settings. Obviously, we're not going for HTTPS. We can't. In production environment, without that, you won't be able to. You won't be allowed to do that. So you have to purchase a certificate in that case. So use Kerberos HTTP. You go down further and then allow replication from any authenticated server here as well. And then click browse. And then we're going to go down to C drive and just create that folder. So go down to C drive, click new folder here. And that is again replica VM your first name. Replica VM your first name. Click anywhere else, select this folder and select folder again. So that's it. That's take a screenshot of this page as well, and the label is already there. That replica. Well, what's the label? So I'll just go for that. Yeah, that's the label here. Replica configured on your first name Win02. So screenshot 5. Ooh, 324. Okay. If that has been taken here, so let's click apply. And OK. And OK here. So now we're pretty much ready for HyperV Replica. And better create a new machine because we've already done a lot of labs on the two machines that we have: live migration, import export, pass-through disk, differencing disk. So we can go back to Win01 here, and we're just choosing this host to have the active VM. So I'm just gonna right click here in Win01 and let's just create a new virtual machine, an empty virtual machine again, Gen 2. So I hope everyone's on the 01. Click the virtual machine and let's go ahead and create that and then create a replica or a partner VM, standby VM in the next hypervisor. So let's click next here, and that would be your third machine. So your first name VM03.
City afterwards?
Hmm?
No city afterwards?
No.
No LA office.
No, it's, and no planet name as well. So let's click next, and generation 2. So And generation 2 is just secure boot, SCSI boot, so it just supports all the latest features in 8 and 10. So generation 2 here, and click next. And then that's where we got a lot of errors before that. You were not able to start the machine. So whatever you see here, right, 32 MB through 4188 MB, between that you need to give some RAM there. So make sure that within this range you give some RAM. We can go for 1024 here, but maybe your machine is not up for that. So make sure you see that range up there. You see your laptop's range up there. Do not copy mine. So 1024 I'm giving. That doesn't mean that you have to give it. It's not must. Just see what range you're allowed to give here for the memory, because this is reflecting whatever you gave to the host overall, right? So, and then use dynamic memory. We're just gonna click that and then click next. So, and then we just give it the first virtual switch. We're gonna give it the first virtual switch and click next. So then it's just usual. It's going to create a virtual disk.vhdx for it, which is okay. It's dynamically expanding, so 127 GB is not going to be a concern. And click next. Well, we're not installing an operating system here, so install an operating system later. But with or without an operating system, the replica steps are exactly the same, with or without an operating system. So I would really encourage you to try to at least put an operating system at home where you have a lot of patience and a lot of RAM and a lot of disk space. Okay, so next. So it's an operating system later, next. And that's it. Go ahead and clear the finish. Click finish here. Okay. Yeah. So here, your first name VM03, if it is created, so let's right click on that your first name VM03, and so there is connect, settings, start, checkpoint, and enable replication. So let's click enable replication. It's going to just ask certain questions. Hey, where's the other host, destination host, and then it's going to create a partner VM or the standby VM on the other side. So let's click that enable replication. I have problems there. Okay. So once you click enable replication here, so that's just okay. Let's click next here for the enable replication wizard for the first machine. So it's just asking, hey, who's your partner host here, which is, so if we click browse here, so the two machines name starts with your first name. So I'm just gonna put the first name here, and check name should bring us a list of the two machines there. And if you're connected, yep, you're good. So 02 is the partner of 01. So just select that and press OK. Okay. Oh. Okay, we need to make it quick. Yeah, you were saying? Wow. Ignore that. Didn't see that. Okay. Yeah. Maybe so it was after class. Okay. So yeah, it could be after class. You could say this way as well. Okay. Okay, guys, press OK here and click next. Once you click next here, now it says here that replica server port is 80. Use Kerberos HTTP. That's what we selected here. And the third thing is compress the data that is transmitted over the network. Obviously, we need to compress the machine for the partner to get created. For its partner to get created, we need to compress the machine, right? So let's click next. Mm-hmm. 8. We selected it. And? No, we did not. It's 80. Port 80. Let me check that. Well,
Whole
back.
bunch of people fucked up. It seems, hold once.
So like here, replication configuration, you're supposed to
Yeah, that's what we collect it here.
here as a array.
Jackson is not.
I don't see it. You have to go back and check.
Jackson is not.
So yeah, change that code to.
Alright.
Maybe the second hypervisor may have the HTTPS selected, which is not supposed to be selected. It should be both HTTP only, right? Okay, guys. So if you're, so I'm gonna go next here and next here as well. So nothing to configure here until we reach this, right? This is VHDX, so it's just saying that, hey, which hard disk of this virtual machine you want replicated on the other side. So obviously we just have one hard disk. If we had 3, 4, 5 hard disks, it would have asked that, hey, which one to replicate, which one not to replicate. So we just have one, and we're gonna keep it selected and click next, right? So choose a frequency at which changes will be sent to replica server. So every 5 minutes you want to send replication, every 30 seconds, every 15 minutes. Depends on you how much of the network is being used right now. Right? So let's go for 30 seconds here. So, but in production environment, obviously don't do that because it might take down your traffic for other networks. So you have to check your bandwidth, how critical this machine is, and then you select that which every 5 minutes or every 15 minutes, right? 15 minutes would be better for WAN connection between two branches, and 30 seconds for LAN connection. Obviously, if it's critical, it needs to be updated right away. You go for that, but make sure that the bandwidth is not consumed too much, that other critical traffic is down or slow. So let's go for 30 seconds here and click next. Okay, so it says here, maintain only the latest recovery point and create additional hourly recovery points. Maybe this machine is so critical that every hour it is automatically creating a recovery point here, right? So that, and then there's a volume shadow copy, so it will create a snapshot every 4 hours as well. Since it's so critical, you can just do that too, but it offers many options to have a backup of this machine. So we're gonna stick to this one and click next. And that's our final page coming here. So set initial copy over the network, and that's good enough. This is start replication immediately as well, right? So set initial copy and start replication immediately. Those two are selected. Click next. So this is your screenshot here that about to start replication between two hypervisors. So take a screenshot here, about to start replication between two hypervisors. First one, Win01, and then we go for, but depends on which stage are you at. Okay, screenshot number 6. About to start replication. What was the label? Sorry, did you put the label? Oh, I'm just. Yeah, I can. Okay, I don't know what I said before. So, about to start application on HyperV. Okay. Hey guys, so it's if that has been done here, let's go ahead. So about to start application on HyperV. Okay, I hope we're doing the lab and we are letting others do the lab as well, right? So it's good to be jolly, but keep it down, please. Right? Okay. So yeah, you can laugh like that. Good. So that's an example I just gave. So okay, let's go ahead, guys.
Click finish.
Yes. Click finish. Yeah, that is even more disruptive. You can go back to your original volume. Okay, so let's click finish here, guys. Let's click finito. And what's the error coming? Coming. I hope nobody gets an error. Please create, please create. This is a perfect time to panic and pray.
Hey, mine fell.
Mine failed.
Failed?
Yours is gonna fail. Mine's gonna fail.
Okay, we need to know why.
Cannot connect the Replica server.
Yeah, I got that as well.
Guys, check the firewall on both. Well, then it should just give me an error as well. Oh, there you go. So HyperV failed to enable replication. HyperV cannot connect to the replica server, and it says here the operation timed out. HyperV cannot connect to replica server. Blah blah blah. The operation timed out. Verify that specified server is enabled as a replica server. Allows inbound connection on port 80 and supports the same authentication scheme. Did we not configure it exactly the same?
Yeah, it's firewall.
Firewall. Okay.
It is the firewall.
It is, okay. Right, guys, so thank you for confirming that, and I'm just gonna go back to the first machine local server and check, didn't we just turn it off? Okay, whoa, there you go. So firewall, and whoa, so all three profiles are on. Oh, if you want me to do that again.
That was the firewall. It was the firewall.
Okay, cool. Okay, guys, so I'm just gonna click that and just turn off this one, turn Windows Firewall on or off, right? And here, and just do the same thing on the other one. And if it is done, so well, I'll tell you where to take a screenshot. Yeah, so turn off firewall here, all three profiles, domain, private, and guest, and we go for the second one. Go to the local server here as well, and domain, and yes, there's just the domain profile here on. Just gonna go to turn Windows Firewall on or off, and turn off the top one here as well, and press OK. Okay.
Oh, never mind. It's because I didn't do both.
So once the firewalls are off on both, well, we have to just try again. Oh, seriously, the whole wizard? No, not the whole wizard. So I'm going back to the wizard here, and that's it. Just click finito, right?
Yeah.
So let's click finish again after turning off the firewall. Cool. Okay. Yes, sir.
Because look at mine's got Germany 1 and 2
Both? You're able to ping from to and from, because if it's not firewall, then how are you not communicating with two servers? So I'm going to click finish here, and replication. Wow. Okay, guys, I hope nobody clicked close.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Son, you messed
Yeah. Okay, so if you click close, I was gonna say that take a screenshot, but if anyone click close, then we go ahead and close and take a screenshot of the any next screen. So I'm gonna click close here. Ah, no fun. It's gone. Okay, so I'm just gonna go down to HyperV Manager. So
Son, you screwed it up for all of us.
okay, so guys, here, right click within server 1. Now, first of all, we will confirm that is there a partner machine VM03 created in the second one. So let's click the other one, Win02, and go to the HyperV Manager in Win02. So that, yes, there is a partner machine, but what's the proof? It's a standby or secondary, and the first one is actually active. So if you, I hope everyone's on the 02 here, and if you just select it and go way down to the replication tab. So it says here, replication mode is replica, primary server is Win01, replica server is Win02. So I hope everyone sees this configuration. That proves that 2 has a standby for that particular machine and 1 has a active one. So we can take a screenshot of this one. So on 02, we select the machine, go down to the bottom tab for the replication that shows primary server and replica server, right? So take a screenshot, replica VM created. Take a screenshot of this area, replica VM created. Take a screenshot, replica VM created. Take a screenshot, replica VM created. Replica VM created. Well, if we had the operating system, we would have known a lot more. But with or without operating system, the initial configuration is exactly the same. You can test it with an operating system. These are the only steps to take to create an exec replica across 2 hypervisors. So replica VM created, if you have taken that screenshot on O2 and then the replication tab, so let's try to power on the first machine now. So guys,
Down the first machine?
power on the
Oh, power on.
power on the first one, the active one, only the active one. Then we're going to try to power on the passive one, which we won't be able to do. Passive stays down, keeps copying from active, right? Passive stays down, keeps copying, replicating from active. So let's go there, and on O1 now, so 01, we go to the VM that is, suppose if you select that machine on O1 and go way down to the replication tab here as well, obviously it's the same information it's going to give here. So primary is Win01, secondary is Win02. Okay, and replication health, I hope everyone sees that is a normal and not any error is showing there, anything other than normal. So although there's nothing to replicate, there's no operating system. So if you're on O1 here, so let's power on your first name VM03 here, and there's a start here. So start the machine, empty machine VM03, but if it had an operating system, it's the exact thing you're going to do, and there's no change in configurational steps. So let's click the start here. Does it start without any error?
Mine does, yep.
You got error?
No, mine
It starts.
without
So
error.
going
Okay.
50%.
Cool. Well, yeah, if it had an operating system, again and again, I'm just saying that. Okay.
Oh, I thought that was the loading. The CPU usage.
So 48% assigned memory is 1 GB, which is, there's nothing to run there. So let's go ahead and right click that running machine here. Right click that running machine here, and you see replication here. So then there are advanced options here: planned failover, pause replication, view replication health, and remove replication. So that's what we need to at least test. What we did, does it really work? So planned failover, let's do that. So we're gonna failover, which means that the other machine should be primary once we're done, and if it is all successful, and this machine should be standby now. And why would we want to do that ourselves? So we're waiting for a disaster to happen, and whenever disaster happens, okay, other one will become active. But we can do it ourselves when?
Test.
Testing, or exactly maintenance as well, which is you're updating with the server 1 operating system. Once you update it, you have to restart for those updates. So you can fail over first and then restart here. Well, okay guys, let's click plan failover here, and we're on O1, and the 03 machine is started, and then we're going for plan failover. We're going to see an error, which is just to show you the procedure. What is the procedure to do a plan failover? So let's click the plan failover here, and you will see this page now. So it says here, start the replica virtual machine after failover. So replica virtual machine is the O2 machine there that is right now standby. So, and reverse the replication. So that's very good. Yes, when you make the other standby machine an active machine, obviously send replication from there to here. Right now it's from here to there. So we're just going to reverse the replication as well, which is normal. So let's click fail over. And it says one thing.
Well, I got two.
Oh, two errors or?
Yeah.
It should just say that, hey, when you're planning to fail over, turn off the machine and do that. That's what it's saying.
How is it a failover if you turn it off?
So without SAN, we cannot really keep it on. No, this is not,
Unable to validate.
without SAN, don't expect anything that we were talking about till now. So it's a failover that, hey, I'm making a other machine as active, but with a downtime right now.
Yeah. Because like it's not a failover if you turn it off.
It's
That's just turning one thing off and turning the other thing on.
But it's going to start sending replication as well.
Okay.
No, that's Microsoft we're talking about. When we talk about the same thing in VMware, you will see the actual, without downtime failover.
Okay.
This is, guys, one more thing here. That's a very good question. Hey, how it is a failover when we have to turn it off and turn it on? Very interesting question. So that's why Microsoft says, hey, can go ahead and deploy our central application that offers a lot of advanced features. And central application is SCVMM, System Center Virtual Machine Manager. That's a very expensive application. And after that, you can do a failover without downtime. What we can do within our infrastructure is this, but definitely, yes, this is not a failover. I totally agree with that. So we don't have the enough equipment there to really go for the big application. Well, at least not for the Microsoft. So let's click that. Oh, 348. Okay, let's quickly do that. So guys, let's close that and cancel that as well. And do we know what to do? Exactly. So the active machine, we need to shut it down or turn off. So if you click shut down, it's again gonna say, oh, we don't suppose shut down because you did not put the tools. We didn't put the tools because there's no operating system inside. So just simply turn it off. So turn off that machine and let's start the failover. But I need a screenshot at a certain stage. So if it is off, right click again, go for replication, go for planned failover again now. I hope everyone's there. And when you go for planned failover, you select this option as well. And once you click failover, whatever is the result, I need a screenshot for that. So let's click failover now.
Yeah, mine did. I screwed something.
All green.
No.
After turn off
It tells you to go and turn it on.
to turn it on.
Start the replica virtual machine. Mine says unable to validate the virtual machine is ready for reverse replication.
Ooh. Everyone got an error. Everyone.
Either round the fuck up or all you is.
Hey, everyone got it.
Not enough memory in the system.
I
start
have my
machine.
machine ready to reverse application. Clear the reverse application. Check the box. So guys, everyone got the clear the reverse application.
Not enough memory in the system to start virtual machine.
Did you give 1024?
On which one?
The active one. So guys, did we give 1024 memory on the active one? And is it a memory error you're getting?
No.
Okay, everyone's getting actually a kind of different.
I got the same video.
Oh,
Click the see details.
uncheck reverse replication. Yeah, here you can just turn off and then put it to 512.
Oh, okay.
512 memory. Anyone else got it? Oh,
Yeah, I got
oh.
an error.
Yes. Those who see this, take a screenshot. Replica successful. Those who see this, take a screenshot. Replica successful. Others, well, I can help. Oh, you see this? Replica successful. Take a screenshot. Oh, is that a? Take a screenshot of this one as well. It says additional step is required. Take a screenshot of this one. Yeah. So that will be then your, if it's a 7 screenshot, so 7.1. Because after that, it's going to complete for you.
So it's 7.1 or 8?
Oh, 8.1 if it's 8. So anyone else? Oh. Is it off? Is it active? Oh yeah, turn it off. And this is the old one.
Let it be over.
Alright, close.
Alien still here.
Oh, there's a back door.
Plants?
Planes.
Oh.
Mostly done.
I really hate plants.
Hey, Jackson, did you fix your gun?
I did.
How did you fix it?
It
So you got the
did
same as me?
fail over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go
That
in
is, yeah, take this
and
picture.
change the startup memory.
Okay, sorry. So you got
And then do it lower.
information state could not be valid. Are you logging from the domain admin in both machines?
I don't think so, actually.
Settings
What
will-
we
Validation would be authentication.
Yeah, it is fine.
So guys, try to make sure that you log in from the domain admin account in both hypervisors.
Let's see which one I want for this.
Admin account, the domain admin account, right?
Jeremy.
And then try again.
Jeremy domain.
Okay, first take the screenshot of this, and then click the close button for additional steps.
Oh.
Do it on.
Oh, you take a screenshot of this?
Yeah.
If you look at Santa Claus, let's
What were the additional steps, guys?
I'll have to do higher.
Oh, without going for a function.
No, I was just taking it back.
Thank you.
You're good. No, but are you done? Yeah, go click close. Then. Still. It didn't change.
Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah, you're good.
So when we uncheck the reverse,
Go ahead. So uncheck, do it again. Uncheck the reverse stuff again.
It's
We're good.
That is that's adorable.
Is it off?
It's the cutest.
I saw it. I'm like, yeah. Yes.
And then go for
It's like,
the. So you got him that. Do it for the
Jeremy's
you
so
don't deserve shit.
Oh, what was wrong?
I didn't have time last night.
You're a sweetie.
If you don't see that here, then we go to the other side. Go to the same.
Get out of here! I'm gonna call it about my sister. Done.
okay, there is something happening.
Okay, you just shut your mouth. Thank you.
Yes, is that your friend?
So that somebody below us.
Of course, it's one of your friends.
You sing it now.
That's DJ.
Yes, sir. Done? Good. Cool. Hey guys, so we had to push it. So, hey guys, there's one more thing. If you don't see this one, so you can just go to the virtual machine and go way down to the replication area. Make sure that primary server now shows O2 and replica server shows. If you did not take the screenshot, the successful one, right? Then go for primary server as O2 and replica server O1. If that area you see, take a screenshot of that. That will be a proof that you were able to successfully do this. Do we all get it?
Stop.
Right? So that is our screenshot number 8. You're not showing that? No, does it show at the bottom replication that primary is O2? So guys, screenshot number 8 is fail over successful with whatever configurations we have. So go to O2. Right click your machine. Yeah. Right click. Replication. Fail over. Without reverse. Fail over. Yeah.
Okay, I got it to work, but I didn't get a message.
Okay, guys, so we were able to fail over here, and that's failover successful. And that's at least we wanted to check that, hey, does it fail over with our current configurations, right? So that's it, and we can now upload this document there.
Excellent.
And have a nice weekend.
Excellent.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna just create that